work in the presentation. So what is an interactive virtual classroom? It's an interactive and active learning environment that's equipped with a variety of tools. So students move around your little virtual classroom or your virtual space, and they interact with different types of technology according to whatever the learning tasks or objectives that you're trying to work on. So an online classroom, it's basically an online classroom with links to different tasks. So why should you have a virtual classroom? It's engaging and interactive. It's appealing to students than just posting numerous assignments, right? It's visually appealing. It looks cute. It's better organization since you're able to put everything that you need for a unit or a learning target or a standard in one place. And it's fun for your students. And a virtual classroom can be used for in-person or online learning. Thank you guys for keeping up with the slideshows and assignments. So who can use a virtual classroom? Anybody can use a virtual classroom. Teachers, counselors, specialists, instructional coaches, therapists, principals, anybody can make a virtual classroom. So before I show you how to make a scene, I'm going to show you some examples of scenes. So know that this slide, I'm going to show you a bunch of examples, but all of these examples are linked so that if you clicked on this picture, it would take you to this slideshow of this scene, right? And you could make a copy of it and get rid of this emoji and put your own Bitmoji, right? So all of these are things that you can take and steal and make copies of. So this virtual locker room is kind of a community building activity, right, where you could have students decorate their own virtual locker and get to know them a little bit. There's also an example of a book room. So if you're teaching English or you have advisory or Avid and you want students to be able to choose from a variety of books, and maybe you have links to those books online, you could create your virtual book room. I know that Katie Zielinski is going to be doing a session on Mayan, which is like a digital books, a bunch of books that students can access from anywhere. So also another session that you might want to attend. You can also set up your daily assignments. So every day when you're posting your assignment, you could have a little classroom, and your classroom could be the same, right? And in there you put what the kids are working on for that day. And within there you could have links to those things, right? So if you're saying, watch this Ed puzzle video, you could have the video embedded in your slide where they just click and watch it from there. Another example is these weekly assignments or these weekly trackers. And one thing that was really prevalent in the feedback from parents was how they felt like in the spring. I know that we were like emergency remote teaching. It wasn't true distance learning. But feedback from parents was that they didn't know what their kids were supposed to be doing. So thinking about creating a weekly assignments that has okay, on Monday, this is what they're going to be doing. On Tuesday, this is what they're going to be doing. And placing that in the materials part of your Google Classroom would help parents maybe help you in making sure that kids get all the things done that they need to. So some other examples include, here's a PE example. Here's a math example, something about pizza slices and angles, I'm not quite sure. So know that your scene doesn't always have to be your classroom. It could be a pizza parlor and your assignment is about that. You know, your scene, if you're a history teacher, could be something about Rome, and so you're at the Colosseum. Here's an example of a library. Here's a financial aid room if you're doing something like Avid or advisory. Right? And these are links to different things that help students navigate financial aid. I thought this counselor's office was really cute. So she has click around the room to explore, and there's different activities for kids to do. There's also a wellness room. So if you're an intervention specialist or social worker, and you want to have a room that has different strategies or activities that students could do to help them calm down, or study tips, or whatever it is that they might need. Here's some science examples. Here's some social studies examples. This one's pretty cool. It's like a field trip, a virtual field trip. And yes, you can design your own. I'm going to show you that in a second. I just wanted to get you a little bit of inspiration. Here's another one. This whole lesson down here is about the Pledge of Allegiance. So students are clicking around to learn about the Pledge of Allegiance, and then they're creating a classroom pledge. There's also an example of a foreign language room. Oops. And let's see, when you put links like, you're going to have to make sure that your share settings are open to all your students. The last page of examples, here's a back to school night. See, they have linked in here like the district calendar and COVID information and PTA, different links for parents, a parent letter. Here's a digital escape room. So they're clicking on things in the room to find clues to get out of the room. There's virtual notebook. A student of the week example. I know it's for younger kids, but it could be nice now that we're in distance learning to highlight students of the week. They could decorate their own room. And then another virtual field trip. So let's see, how many of you like in the chat, yes, no, that you have a Bitmoji or not? Like, yes, I have a Bitmoji, no, I don't have a Bitmoji. Ah! It's going so fast. I should have made a poll. Okay, so we have a combination of yeses and nos. So creating your own Bitmoji is pretty simple. If you have your cell phone, you're going to download the Bitmoji app on your phone, and it is going to walk you through how to make your Bitmoji. You're just going to download the app, and you're going to pick your hair, and you're going to pick your face, and then you're going to be holding it up next to your spouse, and you're going to be saying, does this look like me? And then they're going to be saying, oh my God, leave me alone. So best way to do it is on your phone, downloading the app on your phone. Once you've made your Bitmoji on your phone, you're going to install your Chrome extension. So the Chrome extension, you guys can see this, right? Not just my slides. So when you go into the Chrome store, oops, you'll download the Chrome extension, right? And it'll be up here at the top, like all your other extensions, and it'll be your little Bitmoji. So from here, it's really easy to just drag and drop the Bitmoji that you want into your slideshow or into your banner that you're making or whatever, right? And drag and drop it and fit it around. So step one, if you do not have a Bitmoji, is to download the Bitmoji app on your phone, create yourself, install the Chrome extension, which is what makes it easy to add your Bitmoji to your Google Docs or your Google Slides or your email or whatever it is that you're wanting to add your Bitmoji to. So step one, making a Bitmoji, pretty simple. So step two is making your virtual classroom. So to make your virtual classroom, and know that there's some videos in here that if you ever wanted to go back to these slides and watch that you could. Here's one about how to make your Bitmoji. Here's one about how to get the extension in Chrome. And then here's another one about how to make your virtual classroom that I'm going to model up for you in a second. So you open your Google Slides or your Google Doc or whatever it is that you're wanting to create your virtual classroom in. You insert a background. When you're searching for images, which I'm going to show you, you're going to want to use the word transparent. Like, I want a transparent desk or a transparent chair or a transparent rug. And then you're going to insert those things into your classroom. Then once you have your classroom already and set how you want it to be, you click on those transparent objects and you insert links, right? Whether it's a link to a Padlet that you want kids to go to, or a link to a reading that you want them to read, or a link to a video you want them to watch, right? And then you send this virtual classroom to your students through Google Classroom or whatever your platform is, which ours is all Google Classroom. So when you have your blank slide, at the top, when you go to insert, there is a thing that says image. There is a thing that says search from the web. Pulls up this little box over here on the side. So if I wanted a background, I would type in like wall background. I'm going to pull up all these wall backgrounds. I'm going to say, okay, well, I want to have a, and if you got more specific, you could find it, I'm sure, like flower background or wallpaper background. Let's just say I want this brick. So I'm going to insert this into my background. Oops. I'm going to make it the same size as my screen. Okay, I'm going to size it to where I think my wall is going to be. So say this is the wall of my classroom, and now I need flooring, right? Because I not only have walls, but I need flooring. So I can go to insert. My flooring. These don't really match. I'm doing this quickly for you. Right, and you would combine your things so you have your wall and your floor. These are a little off, but get the gist. The floor is a little bit bigger than my wall. All right, so now I have my floor and my wall, and I need things to put in here. So I'm going to keep searching in these images for things. So if I wanted like a couch, I would type in transparent couch. Couch. Right, and I can turn it so it looks, oops, it can move it around. Flat on the ground. Right, but then if I wanted to add my Bitmoji, I could go up to my extension and I could find, I could type in sit, right? And then I find myself sitting. And this one just looks like your toilet, but this one looks better. So I can put your Bitmoji in there. Sit him on your couch. Standing. Another tip in your Bitmojis is if you type in pose as your search, it'll bring up all these poses. And any word that you type in, it will give you some, you know, it'll make that Bitmoji for you with that word. But if you type in pose, you'll get all these ones of you standing or kicking. And I think if you type in action, then maybe it's not action. Sports, or if you type in cats or dogs or birds, it will give you examples of those type of things. Right, so then all you're doing is just continuing to search for things that you want to put in your classroom. So say I want to have a transparent road. When you find a rug, it's nice to find one that is like not flat up and down, but one that is like this one. And then when you want to put something behind, right, you go order and you take it backward, and it puts it underneath. But if you send it all the way back, then it's going to take it behind your pictures. But the order, this order button. Oops, helpful. I have my rug, I'm putting my couch forward. Okay, so now I'm on top of my rug. Here I want to cat. If you want bookshelf or chat here. Let's see, we have questions. I can show you more. It says, can you show how to insert your Bitmoji again? Yeah. So when you download the Chrome extension, you're gonna have Bitmoji up here at the top always. So once you create your Bitmoji on your phone app, if you go to download the extension, it will ask you for your, the login information that you made, and then it will pull up your Bitmoji, and you'll always just have it here in your little extension. This little drop down pops up, and then from here you can search. Right, there's a hand wave. There's a bunch of like ones saying hi. The love one. Sad ones. Party ones. Right, and on the top you can search. It doesn't show it being opened on my screen. Oh, okay, let me try to share let me change my presentation settings. You're seeing this whole window now? Okay, so when you add the extension, it comes up here at the top. And you have this whole, you're seeing these now? No? Oh, you can see my extension, but not the Bitmoji. That's weird. So when I hit this extension thing, it looks like this. So when this is a different teacher, but when she hits the extension up here at the top, this little drop down guy pops up, where you can search for different Bitmojis. I don't know why you don't see that on my screen. That's interesting. Okay. And then you just drag it. Like you just drag the one that you want and put it on the screen and then resize it. So I can find anyone that I want and pull it down. Because I'm sharing my whole window with you, not just my tab. So I feel like you should be able to see it. Yeah, so when you click on it, it looks like this. And then you just pull it. You just drag it down into the box and then resize it to how you want it. All right, and then in the search, you can search for anything, and you can make your own things too, right? If I wanted to make a whiteboard, because it's not always easy to find a whiteboard, I could insert a text box, and I could give it a stronger outline and make it white, and then I could use that as my whiteboard. Sometimes whiteboards are harder to find. And then in here, I could layer it with another text box and put whatever is my agenda or whatever my directions are that I want them to do from within my virtual classroom. Right, and I fit it on there so that looks like a little whiteboard. Oops. So you can layer text box also. So real basic overview, right? Obviously, it took people more time to make these other ones and the White House one. But if you wanted to make one from scratch, that's how you would do it. So besides, is there any more questions about that? You want me to show you anything else? Or tell me to search for something and I can find it? You could use your own images. And so from insert image, you can upload an image from your computer. So I should have put it in here. I had another classroom that I made when I was playing around with this. And I put a frame. I searched for a frame. See, I did search for transparent frame. Oops. And then I put a bunch of these. I made like a collage of frames on the wall. And then I put real life pictures in these frames. So it's like they were on the wall, and then I went into my computer and I found like this picture of me and my fiance, and I stuck it in the frame. So I had a bunch of like framed pictures on the wall. Like it was an actual, personalize it a little bit. So that's another idea that you can do to make your room more personalized. Could you please show us how again to link to pages? Yeah, so to link pages to your anchor slide. So if I wanted this to be my anchor slide, or if I had an activity about this cat, right? This cat, like I was teaching them about cats, I don't know, and I wanted them to go read an article about cats. I could link this cat to anything. So I can click on the thing that I want to link, press on the little link button at the top. So from in here, I can either paste a link to something outside, a reading, a video, or whatever, or I can click down here where it says slides in this presentation, and then I can pick the slide. So if I wanted to link the cat to the slide number 10, I could link the cat to slide number 10. I thought that's kind of a feature that some people don't know you can do to link your slides within your slides. But I could link my cat to something else, right? And I could also insert like shapes, like I could insert an arrow. Oops. Next to my cat. And then on my arrow, I could write like, click here, so that they know to click on the cat. So to make it more, visible, that that's what I want them to click on. It depends on what you're trying to do in your classroom. Or I could write that in my directions that say, click on the cat to find the video for today's lesson. And I will share the recording. All the recordings from this week will be shared with everybody sometime next week when we have time to put them in a folder. So that's quick and dirty how you make your Google Classroom. There's other things that people have been doing with their Google Classroom with their Bitmojis. So you can also create this Google Classroom banner. So what I did was, in my classroom, I created a banner. Right, so up here, it was my little classroom, right? It was personalized my banner at the top of my classroom. Let's see, I put Benjamin Franklin in there. If you know me, I have an obsession. I put bookshelves and maps and different things. So in here, I included a template. So this is just a Google drawing template that's perfect sized to fit right there. So if you want to make a banner for your Google Classroom, you can use this template. It's the perfect right size. You'll come in here and you'll do everything the same that we did before, right? You'll insert image and you'll search for them and you'll drag and drop and pull them down. And then when you have the image that you want, you're going to save it as a, download it as a JPEG, as a picture, and then you'll just upload it to your Google Classroom. Like you would put a different image in there that you found on the internet. But here you could make your own little classroom to stick at the top of your Google Classroom. Just another way that you can personalize it. Students can't click on the banner, but it's just a way to personalize it. I have also seen teachers that ask their students for their Bitmojis, and they made their banner with all their students in the classroom, which I thought was kind of cute. Or you could like select a student or a couple students a week and change it. But just another way to have some community in this like world that seems socially distanced. Maybe it doesn't seem, it is. So if you wanted to make one of these, there is this template in here for you to use. I've lost some of you. Where have I lost you? Oh, too fast. Tell me what you want me to go back and do. This link right here. So to make my banner, I start by going and getting this Google Classroom template. So you're going to click right here where it says Google Classroom banner template. It's going to force you to make a copy. You're going to make the copy. And you're just going to have this blank banner. I made this template, like this Google Classroom banner template I made. I just sized it to fit. And all these other templates I found online, which I'm going to show you before we leave. But I'm just trying to slow down, but I don't know. I'm doing everything that I've previously done right here was through Google Slides. But I can't make a Google slide that will fit in my Google Classroom. So if you want to make a banner, because the Google Classroom is a long banner like this. So if you wanted to make a banner, you can't make it out of a Google Slides. It's not the right shape. So if you want to make a if you want to make like all these things that we've been looking at earlier, you're going to do what I did here with your Google Slides. Then I moved on to talking about banners. If you want to make a banner, then you're going to need to use this template from Google Google Drawing because it's the right shape. Megan, do you mean like where am I putting it? Like once I make it? Once I make my classroom, I'm going to put it in Google. Once I make my Google Slides, I'm going to put it in Google Classroom. And depending on what I'm trying to do, what my lesson is, I might make a copy for each student, or it might just be the starting place where they start each week that has what they're going to be doing for the week. It might be a one-day lesson where they're clicking around in it to find links to other things. So let's maybe it would be helpful to show you one of these. So right, this teacher's classroom, it says, click on the presidents, Washington, Adams, and Jefferson to learn more about the Pledge of Allegiance. So kids are going to click on them, and it's going to take them to a link. So here's one from history.com. So they're going to click to learn more about the presidents or about the Pledge of Allegiance. Then she has more classrooms in the slide, right? So once you've learned about the Pledge of Allegiance, promise of loyalty, I pledge allegiance to the flag, right? Find definitions of the 10 underlying key terms, write 2 synonyms for each key term, click on President Lincoln to make a copy of the Google Doc, right? So you can see maybe this is more helpful to see how somebody actually uses this versus how to create it. So then her last thing is now let's make our own promise of loyalty. So if teachers are putting these in Google Classroom, sharing it either as viewable by students because they're clicking around and they're turning in their work elsewhere, or making a copy for each of the students, if they're actually typing in the slides or doing something. So it really depends on what your goal is. So your classroom could or should change daily or weekly. Yes. And you could not have a classroom every week. Like it could be one assignment that you choose to make. Or it could be one assignment within your week. So maybe it's not a classroom every day of the week. So it is kind of a way to think about a hyperdoc. It's a hyper slide. When I created my banner, yeah, maybe weekly announcements or maybe a weekly agenda or just saying what you're doing for the day. Really depends on what you're trying to do. All the ones that I've seen have been made in Google Slides. When you created your banner and you added the background, where did this come from? You're talking about this banner? Huh. I'm gonna have to change the share settings of my banner in my drive because every time I open it from here, it's asking me to make a copy. So I'll fix that after this. So if you want to make a banner, you're going to do the same thing like we did for the slides. You're just going to go insert and find the things to make your background. The presentation is from this bit.ly. That's on the bottom of every slide. So you're going to make the banner the same way as you would make this Google slide, like with the same process, the same insert. I'll just fix the banner after this so that it's shareable with everybody. You can also make your email signature, right? So some people are putting their Bitmojis in their email signature. That's really easy to do as well. You'll do that from Google Drawing as well. This is a little video to show you how to do that. Also, here is just a list of links of Google slideshows that have different transparent things. So if you didn't want to, or you couldn't find something when you were searching, you could come in here and there's a whole slideshow full of backgrounds to choose from. So instead of searching, you could come in here and find one of these backgrounds that you like, copy it over to your presentation. So on this helpful resources, all of these are links to slideshows that have transparent bookshelves, sofas, plants, chairs and stools, animals, accessories, flooring, and then also there's a gold mine of examples in this Google folder. So this Google folder has all kinds of classrooms that people have made with different lessons or assignments. So you can come in here and get inspiration. You can make copies of them and make them your own. Because it's why start from scratch if you don't have to. See, like I was talking about these class pictures. Some people have made little class pictures, which is kind of cute. So this presentation has a wealth of things for you to come back and use. Like I was saying earlier, if you are on Facebook, there's a Facebook group called Bitmoji Craze for Educators. And this is where I found the majority of these resources. And so if you're on Facebook and you follow other educational groups, you could search Bitmoji Craze for Educators and join the group. They have all kinds of resources. If you have questions, you can post it in there. People are very helpful. And you can find lots of examples. The only thing that I'll say, Antonia, is that our students, they can't put, Bitmoji extension is blocked for them. So they can't put the Bitmoji extension on their Chromebook because it's owned by Snapchat. And so some of the images are deemed as inappropriate, but many students have Bitmojis already because they have them for their Snapchats on their phones. And so they could email it to themselves and send it to you that way. So like there is a workaround. Like you're not going to get in trouble for having them send you or use Bitmojis, but they can't add the extension on their school device. But many of them already have Bitmojis on their phones. So they could send it through email on their phone. Or like they could upload it to Google Classroom that way. And then how do you insert your Bitmoji? So as teachers, we have the extension. So like somebody was saying, you couldn't see when I was clicking here, but up here at the very top, right, are all my extensions. So I have the Bitmoji extension. So when I click on this, it pulls up this drop down like this, and I drag and drop the Bitmoji that I want onto the slide that I want it and resize it. So some tips for making your Google Classroom copyright. So use Google Advanced Search or search right in Google Slides to avoid copyright issues, or use images from those helpful resources. If you have a Facebook, you should join that Facebook group. They have lots of awesome examples and free classrooms that you can choose from. Educators are always sharing their classrooms on there and telling people to use them if they would like. There's also a thing called Safe YouTube. I've linked it here. So you can insert the URL of any YouTube video and it'll take out the ads. So instead of just sharing a YouTube link, you can put that YouTube link here in Safe YouTube and it will delete the ads and then give you a new link that you can share with your students. There's also a site called Vocaroo, which some people have been using to record audio and insert it into your slides. So you can just record on this website like your directions, and then it will give you a file that you can just upload to your Google slide, where you could have your directions for how you want them to navigate that virtual classroom. There's another resource called Remove BG. It's remove background. So this will remove a background from any image. So if you find an image and it's a rug that you really want to use, but it has a background, you can copy it into this remove BG and it will take the background off of your image. There's also the Bitmoji extension like we were talking about. And then link to homepage, like I showed you earlier, how to link your slides back. So some tips when creating your classroom. So if you, it's like an extension slide. So when you finish with your classroom, it's important to check the links, right? And make sure that that your links are in present, because not in the background. Like you're linking to an object that's in the front that they can actually click on, and not an object that's in the back. Make sure, somebody mentioned earlier about your shared settings. So you're going to want to make sure that whatever it is that you're linking has the appropriate shared settings, unlike my banner. So double check all of those things. You can use the word edit in your slideshow URL to make it presentation mode. So students can't they can't edit the slides. So I could take this link up here at the top to my slideshow, and all the way at the end, I can click here where it says edit, and I can put preview. I change this word with preview and I share it, then you won't be able to edit my slides. You'll just see them in this preview mode. So you can click on the things that are in here, but you can't move and drag and drop anything around. Another little trick. So that's just by changing the word up here to preview. If you change the word up here to copy, that'll force the copy. Can I send those shortcuts? Like in an email? Yes. Yes. And then they're also in the slideshow, but I can send them. All you do is change the word at the top. So when when this word says edit, I'm going to be in edit mode. When I change the word edit to preview, puts it in presentation mode. And when I change the word to copy, it makes the forced copy. It forces a student to make a copy of it. When you're posting these in your Google Classrooms, you can automatically post it so that everybody gets a copy of it. Is there anything else that you would like me to go over again or show you? Change my banner settings.
Hey, I have a quick question if you have a second.
Yeah.
All right. I was just wondering, I downloaded the Bitmoji extension, and it's not appearing anywhere like up top. Is there some reason why it shouldn't appear? Like, I click my extensions and it shows that it's in my extension, but then I go all the way up to the top and I'm just not seeing the little thing up there.
You might have to open a new, if you open a new browser, it might need to add, or if you restart your computer maybe. But I feel like if you open a new, if you closed everything and open a new one, that it might pop up.
Sometimes if you have a lot of extensions, it'll go off towards the, you have to click on the 3 dots on the right and you'll see a list sometimes.
Do you have a lot of extensions at the top of your screen?
Yeah, it looks like I just have a big, long URL bar, and then it goes to only a couple. It's only showing, there's only room for a couple more. Yeah, so I guess it's just in my settings somehow that I'm not able to see it.
If you click the puzzle piece at the top, it'll allow you to pin certain extensions to the top. And so there's little pin marks. If they're blue, they're pinned to the top. If they're not blue, they're not pinned to the top, so you won't see them.
Question answered. Thank you. That's perfect.
And then if somebody wants to try the banner, it should be a viewable copy in there now, but you can just make a copy of. What do you recommend that students share their Bitmojis so that they may be added to a banner? I would probably have students just share it in Google Classroom. They can, or email you, because if they have Bitmoji on their phone, they can send it in an email. So you'd have to maybe teach them. I don't know if they all know how to compose an email from their phone, but they could add their Bitmoji that way. And they could send it to an email, or they could put it in a document, like a Google Doc, and share it in Classroom. Because I just had this conversation with IT the other day about the Chrome extension, and they said that they won't let students do it because there are inappropriate Bitmojis. So if you're looking to find the one without words, type in the word pose. Type the word pose, and that'll pull up Bitmojis that don't have words. Cassie, did you try typing in close? I don't know what is wrong with this banner link and why it doesn't want to work. Oh, it copied the wrong link. I'll get it right one day. Share. Copy. Okay, now try it. Okay, here's the link to the banner. It's now linked correctly in the thing. And we have a couple minutes left. So hopefully you got some inspiration. There we go. For how to make your Bitmoji classroom and how to make sure your share settings are right before you present to other people or your student. The last thing I have for you, if you don't have any more questions, is to complete the evaluation. Make sure that you signed in.
Okay, sorry, how did you say again to put the background in the Google Classroom? Could you show that again? Because I can't get mine in.
How to put it into, how to do this?
Yes, correct.
Okay. Yeah, so I would, first you're gonna want to open up this, now that it's shared correctly. Well, you're gonna have to make a copy of it. Right, and then from here, because this is the right shape for your banner, you're gonna insert all the things that you want. Right, and you could take a background, like if I wanted this background, I could copy it and I could stick it over here. So I'm going to find a background that I want, and I'm going to do to this Google drawing just what I did to that other Google slide that I was modeling for you earlier, and I'm going to put all the things in there that I want. So I'm going to decorate it all up, and then I'm going to download it as a JPEG. And then when I'm in my Google Classroom, at the top up here it says Upload Photo. So from here, I'm going to upload that JPEG that I downloaded from the classroom. Make this fit, and then select it, and it's going to change my banner. So first step is to use this blank Google Drawing template and create your classroom by finding your transparent, your background and putting your Bitmoji and the different things that you want and setting it up. And then File, Download, JPEG, and then you're uploading that JPEG to your Google Classroom.
Thank you.
When you copy and reuse it, does it retain all the links? Yes. Like if you use one of those examples that I gave you, like say that Pledge of Allegiance one, and you make a copy of it, it's going to keep all of those in it. It's going to keep all of those links in it. So if you use somebody else's stuff, you're going to have to make sure that the links are shareable or what you want your students to get. because they might have an assignment that's linked to a Padlet, right? But you're going to need to make your own Padlet and then link it. Or they might have an assignment that's linked to a Google Doc or a Google slideshow, and you might need to make your own and link it. So if you use somebody else's, all the links will copy, but make sure all the links are links that you need. Is there a way to know all the links? I don't know if there's a way to exactly know all the links without clicking through it. I thought if we could Control A, we might be able to, but it didn't work. Okay, you're going to have to click all through it. Yeah, so if you made a copy of the banner and you're trying to search for images, you're going to go to Insert, Image, and then search from the web. And then it's going to pull up this little thing on the side. And so here's where you'll search for your images. Right, if you want background images, or if you want flooring or a rug. And then Elise, you have to change, I mean, you might not have to change all, like if they're linked to some websites, then you won't need to change those links. Just depends on what the teacher has their things linked to. And you make sure they're transparent by typing in transparent like chair. And all these chairs should be transparent. So anything you search for, you put the word transparent in front of, and it'll help, like transparent dog or cat or rug. Transparent means that it won't have white in the background. Like if I don't search transparent, if I just search fair, then I might get a chair that has a background. So the chair is going to be, well, that one's not. It might be white in the background, but by searching transparent, it won't. But depending on what you're putting where, you might have to change the order. So please make sure to fill out the eval. Make sure you signed in. Hopefully that was helpful. I have a tendency to go fast. I'm working on it. That eval is on the last slide. And if you access these slides, you can have access to all the links in this slideshow. And when I put up the recordings, I'll try to get as many of the presentations to put with the recordings for people to use. And if you join that Facebook group, you'll have 20 million other templates to use. Thank you, everyone. Have a good time at your next session if you're sticking around.